The 1-minute taste that made a small Abuja kitchen outsell a factory. What if I told you the fastest-growing food brand in your state right now does not have NAFDA approval yet, does not own a delivery van, and started with a pot borrowed from a neighbor? Right now, across Nigeria, thousands of unemployed graduates, market women, and people on Social Security are trying to process food. They buy a grinder, make kulikuli, package Zobo, bottle peanut, post on WhatsApp, and 3 months later they are hawking the unsold stock at a loss. Not because Nigerians are not hungry, but because they process product when the market was begging for proof. The smartest food processing SMEs in Nigeria, the ones moving from one room to 3 states, do not start with a recipe. They start with a refusal. A customer refusing to buy what is already out there. If you are trying to ideate your next product, this is part 1 of how small food businesses in Nigeria find the real customer before they buy the first bag of raw material. Part 1. Stop cooking for Nigerians. Cook for the person who is already angry. Target market. Nigerians has killed more food SMEs than NAFDA raids. Nigeria's top SMEs do not sell to Nigerians. They sell to Auntie Bose in Garri, who throws away half her okra every week because it gets slimy, and Emeka the student in Nsukka, who eats bread and groundnut twice daily because it is the only thing that fits his 100 naira. That is the difference. Big companies have budgets to guess. SMEs do not. You must be right on day 1. What other companies do? The produce then post-trap company X sees that people like plantain chips. They fry 500 packs, print fine labels, and beg family to share on status. 2 weeks later, 400 packs are soft. Why? Because people like plantain chips is not a customer. The bus driver who needs it to not crush in his pocket by noon is a customer. The mother who needs it to not stain her kid uniform is a customer. Company X fed neither. What winning food processing SMEs in Nigeria do? Pain first method before Taste Buds in Lagos scaled its tiger nut milk. The founder spent Saturdays at Surulere Market. She watched. She saw mothers buying tiger nut, but complaining, it sours before evening. She saw cake riders buying, but saying, the bottle leaks in my pocket. So she did not launch healthy tiger nut milk. She launched tiger nut milk that lasts 12 hours with no fridge and comes in a flat flask. Same drink. Different war. She sold out in week 1. Here are the first 3 of 8 principles successful food processing SMEs in Nigeria use to identify potential customers and test products. We will complete the 8 in part 2. Principle 1. Start with the spoilage, not the spice. What it means. Big brands ask, what flavor do people want? SMEs that survive ask, what is rotting, wasting, or disappointing my customer right now? How SMEs apply it. A small brand in Benue called My Staple watched women in Makurdi market. Every evening, unsold tomatoes were thrown away. The women were losing money. My Staple did not launch fresh tomato paste. They launched sun-dried tomato powder in tea bags. 1 bag equals 3 tomatoes, lasts 6 months, no fridge. The customer was not cooks. The customer was the woman who loses 300 naira to rot every market day. Compare. Company Y launches organic tomato paste in glass jar for middle-class kitchens. But they never asked why Mama Put prefers sachet. Answer. She buys daily. She cannot tie cash down in a jar. My Staple sells daily portions. Company Y sells to ego. My Staple sells to cash flow. Your lesson. Find what is spoiling in your customer's hand. Fruit, time, gas, reputation. If nothing is spoiling, there is no urgency. No urgency. No sale. Principle 2. Segment by the moment, not the map. What it means. SMEs do not group by Southeast or millennials. They group at the moment of hunger, stress, or shame they solve. How SMEs supply it. Real Food in Ibadan makes dry yam flour. But they do not sell yam flour. They sell to 3 moments. 1. The 5 p.m. moment. The working mom who gets home late and needs amala in 10 minutes. So they made quick amala, cooks in 5 minutes. Kajik's Sunday moment. The family that wants stretchy party-style amala. So they made party texture. 3. The diabetic moment. The uncle who was told to stop yam. So they made low-starch yam flour. 1 factory, 3 pains, 3 labels. Compare. Company Z sells all-purpose pap. But a nursing mother's moment is 3M, baby crying, need food now. A gym bro's moment is post-workout, need protein. All-purpose serves neither. Real food wins because they named the moment. Your lesson. Write the exact time your customer feels the pain. Tuesday, 7 a.m., kids late for school. If you cannot name the moment, you are not ready to name the product. Principle 3. Test with their money, not your mother's opinion. What it means. Successful SMEs do not trust this is sweet. They trust I paid, and I came back with my neighbor. How SMEs apply it. A Kuli brand in Kano called Groundnut Plus did not do free tasting. They went to one mechanic workshop with 50 packs. Price, normal market price. Rule, no credit. After 2 days they asked, how many bought twice? 8 mechanics did. She asked those 8, why? They said, it no day stick free teeth like the other one. That sentence became her label. She scaled only after week to repurchase hit 60%. Compare. Company A shares 100 free packs at a church bazaar. Everyone says, God bless you. Launch week, 10 sales. Why? Thank you is not data. Cash is data. SMEs that survive measure money back rate, not smile rate. Your lesson. Your test is not, do they like it? Your test is, will a stranger use their own money to buy it again before you remind them? If not, you have a hobby, not a business. 3 mistakes other companies make in food processing. 1. They scale the recipe, not the reason they get 100 compliments and borrow to buy a bigger fryer. But they never wrote down why people bought. Was it taste? Was it that it was the only crunchy snack near the school gate? When they move location, sales die. SMEs that last scale the reason, not just the recipe. 2. They confuse packaging with permission. They spend 70% of capital on pouches and stickers. The customer buys from the woman whose puff never soaks oil, even when it is wrapped in old newspaper. Proof eats pouch. 3. They launch for Lagos, not for life. They assume if it works in Lekki, it will work in Lafia. But Lekki has light for sealing. Lafia has heat that bursts nylon. The smartest SMEs test in the hardest place first. If it survives there, it will thrive anywhere. Lessons learned, you can use tomorrow. 1. Spoilage is a signature. If something is always wasting, the market is begging you to fix it. 2. Moments beat markets. Hungry student at 10 p.m. is a better customer than youths in Nigeria. 3. Your mother's praise is not market research. Your customer as second purchases. In Part 2, we will reveal the next 5 principles. How SMEs use gatekeeper aunties to enter markets, why the best test batch is sold in traffic, how to price for bad market day, and why the fastest way to kill a product is to listen to everyone. Because here is the truth. Nigeria does not have a food shortage. It has a trust shortage. The SME that proves they solve a real, angry, daily problem gets the money first. Want Part 2 and my one-page SME test card to validate your idea with 5,000 naira? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Every week I break down how Nigerian food SMEs go from POC to profit without investor money. Hit subscribe now. Part 2 is where we turn your kitchen idea into a product people chase you for. See you inside. The kitchen secret that lets small food brands fire big factories. Part 2. In Part 1, we buried a myth. Nigerians love food, so if I cook, they will buy. You learn the first 3 principles real food processing SMEs in Nigeria live by. Start with the spoilage. Segment by the moment. Test with their money. But here is the part that separates the SMEs that stay in one kitchen from the ones that land in 5 states. Getting the first stranger to buy is easy. Getting the 10th stranger to find you without you shouting is the game. Big factories use adverts. SMEs use aunties, okadas, and bad NEPA. This is how. Part 2. From one sale to street demand, how small food brands win without billboards. FMCG giants pay for shelf space. SMEs create shelf space where none existed. Here are the next 5 principles Nigerian food processing SMEs use to identify their real customer and test products before scale. Principle 4. Co-create with the gatekeepers. What it means: the person who eats your product is not always the one who decides if it sells. SMEs win by winning the person who will be blamed if it flops. How SMEs apply it. A Zobo brand in Abuja called Zobo Fresh wanted to enter schools. They did not pitch principals. They pitched the gatman and the fruit vendor inside the school. Why? If a child complains of stomach pain, the vendor gets banned. Zobo Fresh gave the vendor free samples for 1 week and a no-sugar spike test result. She tasted it, gave it to her own kids, and then told the PTA, "This one no day cause wahala." One gatekeeper opened 4 schools. Another SME, Peplite in Owerri, makes low-oil groundnut paste. They did not target mothers. They targeted wedding caterers. If jollof rice is too oily, the caterer loses future jobs. Peplite gave 10 caterers test buckets and adjusted the grind until it fried without foaming. Caterers became sales agents. Compare. Company B launches kids' Nutri Milk, runs Instagram ads to mums. But they never met the school auntie who decides which drink is allowed through the gate. She says, "We no allow pet bottle." Company B has inventory. Zobo Fresh has orders. Your lesson. Ask, who will be queried if my product embarrasses the user? That is your gatekeeper. A class teacher? A bus conductor? A pharmacy attendant? Find them. Feed them first. Principle 5. Follow the waste. What it means: your next product is in your customer's trash can. SMEs do not have R&D labs. They have dustbins. How SMEs apply it. Garri processor in Ijebu called Crunch Roots noticed something. After sieving, heaps of fine chaff were dumped. Farmers called it Garri dust. He dried it further, added ginger, and sold it as Garri cereal for busy mornings. It steeps in hot water in 2 minutes. He turned waste it to a breakfast line. Another SME, Fruitage in Jos, saw pineapple peels piled behind fruit sellers. They now collect it, dehydrate it, and sell pineapple peel tea for digestion. The fruit seller gets clean space and a small fee. Fruitish gets raw material for almost free. Compare. Company C makes mango juice. They toss peels and seeds daily. Meanwhile, a competitor is making mango seed oil for skincare from the same trash. Company C says, "We focus on juice." The competitor focuses on profit. Your lesson. Visit your customer after they have used products like yours. What is left? Peels, shafts, crumbs, melted ice, stained packs. Ask, who else has this problem? Waste is unmet demand with no marketing budget. Principle 6. Price for the bad day, not the payday. What it means: big brands price for salary week. SMEs that survive price for NPP it cocklight, and I must choose between fuel and food. How SMEs apply it. A beans flour brand in Makurdi, Moin Moins, sells in 3 sizes. One is a single Moins sachet for 50 naira. Why? Because the security guard cannot buy a 500 naira pack, but he can skip 1 meat pie and buy protein. Moin Moins would rather you buy small today than buy from a competitor tomorrow. Talsbud's Tiger Nut Milk comes in a flat pocket flask for 200 naira and a family bottle for 800 naira. The kek rider buys the flask. The mum buys the bottle. Same milk, different pocket pain. Compare. Company D launches Tritizen granola at 2,000 naira per pouch. Their pitch: healthy living. Reality. The average Nigerian spends under 1,000 naira on breakfast for the whole family. Company D calls it premium. The market calls it not for me. Your lesson. Build 3 price points before you design your label. If fuel jumps tomorrow and your customer must abandon you, your price was pride, not business. Principles 7. Test in the chaos. What it means: your kitchen has light, clean water, and patience. Nigeria does not. SMEs test where things go wrong. How SMEs apply it. A peanut brand in Kano, G-Nut Kicks, stores test packs on the dashboard of a cake for 3 days during hot season. If the oil separates or the nylon bursts, they reformulate. A pap brand in Aba, Quikochi, mixes its powder with cold water from a well, hot water from a kettle, and lukewarm pure water. If it lumps in any, they adjust the grind. Zobo fresh leaves bottles in the sun at Lugby Junction. Futmer ferments, they tweak the preservative and pasteurization. They do not trust lab conditions. They trust Lugby conditions. Compare. Company makes instant amala that is perfect with boiled water and a whisk. But Mama Sakura uses a turning stick and river water. It is lumpy. Shaktesser neighbors do not buy. Company blames low market education. SMEs blame themselves and fix it. Your lesson. List the 3 worst ways your product will be stored, transported, or cooked. No fridge. Child cooking it. Shaking in a bus. Test those first. If it dies there, the market will kill it faster. Principle 8. Build a feedback loop, not a feedback box. What it means: SMEs do not wait for customers to complain. They hunt for the complaint before it becomes a tweet. How SMEs apply it: Real Food S founder calls 5 customers every Friday. Not, you like it? She asks, what small thing annoyed you this week? One customer said, the seal is hard for my grandma. Next batch had an easy peel tab. Sales jumped in communities with elderly buyers. Moinese uses bus conductors as agents. They only get paid when customers reorder. So the conductor becomes a feedback machine. He tells the owner, Dem say the pepper too small. Next batch changes. Compare. Company, F prints, call 800. On the pack. Nobody calls. They assume all is well. 6 months later, shop owners say, Nudi move again. Silence was the complaint. SMEs that win no silence is the most expensive review. Your lesson. Do not set up a comment box. Set up a we will come to you habit. Visit the market. Watch the last piece in the pack. Is it broken? Soggy? Hard? That is your R&D meeting. 3 mistakes other companies make with food. SMEs. They copy the product, not the pain. They see groundnut plus selling and fry kulhuli too. But they never asked why groundnut plus wins. Answer. It no day stick fur with free teeth, and the nylon no day cut hand. Company G copies shape, not solution. So they compete on price and die. 2. They launch for applause, not for restock. They do a big launch in a hotel. Bloggers post. Friends clap. Month 2. No distributor will touch it because market women no reorder. SMEs that win measure second order rate in week 2, not likes in week 1. 3. They think NAFTA easy sell is a finish line. They get a number and relax. But NAFTA does not sell. Aunties sell. Hop SMEs, no registration is a license to start, not a license to succeed. If the product does not survive traffic, heat, and a child's hand, NFTEX cannot save it. Lessons learned. You can use this week 1. Gatekeepers are your marketing team. One caterer can move more packs than 1,000 naira on Instagram ads. Feed her first. 2. Waste is your cheapest supplier. What is your customer throwing away daily? That is your next CEU. 3. Chaos is your quality control. If it works in a kek at noon in Lokoa, it will work anywhere. You now have all 8 principles. In part 3, I will give you the 1-page SME test card, so you can validate any food idea with 5,000 naira in 14 days. I will also break down a Nigerian SME that failed after getting funding and the one sentence that would have saved them. Because here is the truth. Nigeria does not need another snack. Nigeria needs another sure thing. The SME that proves they are sure, sells. And part 3 and the test card template, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Every week I turn stories of Nigerian food SMEs in step-by-step playbooks for unemployed, underemployed, and anyone building from scratch. Hit subscribe now. Part 3 is where we turn your recipe into a repeat order. See you in the next one. The one question that turns a kitchen hustle into a national brand. Part 3. You have found the woman whose tomatoes spoil every evening. You sold her sun-dried tomato powder. She came back with 2 neighbors. Now comes the question that separates SMEs that feed estates from those that feed debt. 5 fall sick for a month. Will this business still feed anyone? The food processing SMEs Nigeria that survive are not the ones with the best recipe. They are the ones with the best repeatability. Big factories have SOPs. Smart SMEs have systems too, just written on cardboard in the kitchen. This is part 3. It is where we move from I sold it to it sells without me begging. If you are unemployed, underemployed, or using Social Security to start small, these final principles are how you stop being the business and start owning one. Part 3. From first restock to forever demand, how Nigerian food SMEs build systems, not stress. Company X celebrates when a supermarket takes 50 packs once. Taste Buds celebrates when that supermarket calls to beg for 200 packs because customers are asking. One is hope, the other is pull. Here is how winning food processing SMEs in Nigeria create pull, using the last 5 principles. Principle 4. Co-create with the gatekeepers. What it means. The person eating your shaki is nice. The person who will be disgraced if your shaki flops is critical. How SMEs apply it. A small brand in Ilorin, Mama Stubase, did not market to families. She marketed to party caterers. Why? 1. Caterer feeds 300 guests. If her stew tastes sour, she loses the next wedding. Mama Stubase gave 5 caterers free buckets for 3 events and said, "Tell me what must change." They said, "It needs to fry faster and not burn." She adjusted. Those 5 caterers now pre-order monthly. 1 gatekeeper, hundreds of end users. 4 packaged snacks. The gatekeeper is often the school tuck shop, auntie. If your chin-chin does not finish fast, she will not restock. A semi and enugu called NutriBite reformulated to non-oily after tuck shop aunties complained kids stained uniforms. Sales tripled. Compare. Company B launches kids' lunchbox cookies and runs Facebook ads to mothers. But they never met the school gatekeeper. She says, "It melts," and refuses to stock. Company B has likes. NutriBite has lunch bells. Your lesson. Ask, who will be insulted if my product embarrasses the user? The class rep? The food vendor? The pastor's wife who shares your Zobo at church? Win that person first. They own the crowd. Principle 5. Follow the waste. What it means, your next product is screaming from your customer's dustbin. How SMEs apply it. In Oyo, a Garri processor saw that after sieving, heaps of fine Garri dust were thrown away. Waste. He now bags it as quick swallow Garri for students. It dissolves in 30 seconds. No lumps. He sells what he used to sweep. Another SME, Plantain Works in Edo, saw plantain peels dumped. They now dry, grind, and sell it as plantain peel flour for diabetics swallow. The peel was waste on Monday. It was revenue by Friday. Compare. Company C makes fruit juice and trashes pineapple cores. Meanwhile, a competitor dries those cores and sells pineapple fiber tea for weight loss. Company C is buying branding. The competitor is buying waste. Your lesson. Visit your customer after they use your product. What is left? Peels, water, crumbs, failed batches. Name 3 people who might pay for that trash. Call them. Principle 6. Price for the pocket, not the pride. What it means. SMEs do not price to feel premium. They price so she can buy it on the day PHCN takes light and school fees is due. How SMEs apply it. Real Food yam flour has daily sachet for 100 naira, family pack for 600 naira, and event bag for 500 naira. Taste Buds Tiger Nut Milk has 250 milliliters for key criders and 1 liter for homes. The SME rule. Never let a customer leave your brand because of price. Let her trade down within you, not out to someone else. Compare. Company D launches cold-pressed artisanal coconut oil at 500 naira for 120 dinars. Target. Wellness moms. Reality. The mama put needs oil for 30 plates of rice and can spend 800 naira max. Company D calls it positioning. The mama calls it not for me. Your lesson. Build 3 price levels before you print labels. If a fuel hike would make your customer abandon you, your price is a poem. not a plan. Principle 7. Test in the chaos. What it means. Your kitchen with freezer and filtered water is not Nigeria. Nigeria is heat, Okada transport, and impatient hands. How SMEs supply it? A Zobo brand in Jos, zest up, leaves bottles in the sun inside a bus for 6 hours. If it ferments and bursts, formula is wrong. A Kulikuli brand in Kaduna, Crunch Mama, puts packs in a mechanic's pocket all day. If it turns to powder, packaging is wrong. NutriBite sends Chin-Chin to boarding schools with no fridge. If it grows mold in 3 days, recipe is wrong. Compare. Company E makes instant oat swallow that works perfectly with hot water from a kettle. But in real life, students use room temper, pure water. It is lumpy. They never buy again. Company B blames unserious customers. Winning SMEs, BAC. Least, the 3 worst ways your product will be stored, moved, or cooked. No fridge. Motorcycle delivery. Kiddo opens it. Test those first. If it survives chaos, it will dominate calm. Principle 8. Build a feedback loop, not a suggestion box. What it means. SMEs that scale do not wait for DMS. They hunt for insults. How SMEs apply it. Mama Stew Base has the phone number of every caterer who buys. Every Monday she calls 3 and asks, "What one thing annoyed you?" Even small. One said, "The bucket is hard to open with oily hands." He changed the lid. Orders jumped. Real Foods founder stands at one market every Saturday, not to sell, but to ask, "Why did not you buy today?" The answers become next month's upgrade. Compare. Company F prints 4 complaints. Call. On the pack. No one calls. 6 months later, retailers stop ordering. Why? Customers do not call. They quietly switch. Silence is the most expensive feedback. Your lesson. Do not set up a suggestion box. Set up a call your buyers hour weekly. Fix one small annoyance every month. That is how small brands become habits. 3 more mistakes other companies make. 1. They scale thirst, not system. They get 200 orders and rent a bigger shop. But they never wrote down why the first 20 bought. Was it taste, speed, or that you were the only one near the gate? When they move, the reason disappears. Scale the reason first, then the room. 2. They launch for Lagos, not for lasting. They assume if it sells in Ikeja, it will sell in Ikorodu. But Ike has light to seal pouches. Ikorodu has heat that pops them. The smartest SMEs test in the toughest spot first. If it wins there, it is bulletproof. 3. They think brand is a logo. They pay designers before they have repeat buyers. But the woman at Upper Ueka buys from the puff that does not soak oil, not from the one with fine sticker. Brand is what she tells her neighbor, not what you drew on Canva. Lessons learned. You can apply this week. 1. Gatekeepers are your sales team. One happy caterer is worth 100 Instagram ads. 2. Waste is your cheapest R&D. What you throw away today is someone's raw material tomorrow. 3. Chaos is your certificate. If your product needs perfect conditions, it is not for Nigeria yet. You now have all 8 principles. 1. Start with the spoilage. 2. Segment by the moment. 3. Test with their money. 4. Co-create with gatekeepers. 5. Follow the waste. 6. Price for the pocket. 7. Test in the chaos. 8. Build a feedback loop. Your 14-day SME test card. 1. Name the human losing money or time today. 2. Write their pain in their words. 3. Get 10 strangers to pay twice. 4. Expose it to the worst condition. 5. Met the gatekeeper's approval. If you can fill it, you do not have an idea. You have an invoice waiting to happen. This is where we go deeper. Part 1, 2, and 3 gave you the map. But maps do not fry plantain. You do. On my YouTube channel, I show you how to find gatekeepers, how to price with 5 or 0 nair, how to turn waste to wealth, and how to use one market day to test like a factory. Nigeria does not need more food processors. It needs more problem processors. And the biggest problem is uncertainty. The SME that sells certainty eats first. Subscribe to my YouTube channel now. Every week we turn Nigerian kitchen hustles into step-by-step systems for unemployed, underemployed, and anyone ready to feed people and get paid. The next Onibos is already angry at what is in her kitchen. Make sure she gets angry at your competitor, not at you.